long as you are in debt.
As long as you're shaking this wine in your hand and get it on my carpet.
I'm not going to shake this on your carpet.
All right, dude.
But I'm just saying, as long as that you are in debt and you making money like that, you got to be bringing money in somewhere to be that much in debt. Just saying, because they're not going to give somebody that don't have good credit and no money enough money to be $100,000 in debt.
In school, they are.
Well, yeah, that's school.
All right, what you mean that's school? That's still $100,000 in debt, and you have nothing to show for it. You're not making that money to make up for it.
The only way you're going to be $100,000 in debt, though, from school is if you went to school to be a surgeon or a doctor some way, somehow.
Yeah, but even if you're going to school for that, Chastity, you're right. This person was going to school to be a doctor, but the point that you're missing is that they were still an undergrad. They were still an undergrad. They weren't in that doctorate program. This is strictly undergrad, and they were $100,000 in debt.
But that's the thing, too.
Before that...
A lot of people don't understand, too, is that, like, that is a number one thing that separates... And I'm not trying to throw no shots to say it's color, but that's the difference from separating black kids in college from white kids in college.
What is?
Debt. Because let's be honest, how many white parents is going to let their kids go and sign and be $100,000 in debt?
Yeah, but I think before we just make this about a color thing, or a race thing, I think you're on to something, but I think what that is specifically for so-called white students, it's specifically the so-called white students that have parents that have that history, that have that education. All of them don't. So there are many so-called poor so-called white people who have parents that have no history in college that make the same mistakes that a lot of so-called black.
Yes, 100%. But what I'm saying is that most of the time, that's not known of because they have parents that are going to tell them to stop, or
you're right. I agree.
Parents
may even have the money.
Yeah, but their parents keep up with what they do in school too.
Yep, you're right.
Because let me tell you something. My mama don't know how to work no computer, but that girl learned just so she can log on to my UCA. Or she learned that number to the school to call just to see if my grades was fine and where my debt was. When your parents care enough, they'll stay on it. When your parents don't care about what the hell you're doing, you're going to get in debt and you're going to get behind. And don't get me wrong, yes, black parents care, 100%. I'm not saying that they do. But 99% of my friends are black. And let me tell you something. I don't know not one of them whose parents ever called. Like, they used to think that I was crazy for letting my mom have access to my school stuff. Why would I not? She needs to correct me when I do something stupid because she's been there, she's done that. You don't have to go to college to understand a stupid choice and a mistake. And you don't have to go to college to know that you're going to get yourself in debt that you can't get yourself out of.
Everyone has secrets. The definition of a secret is something private that we don't want other people to know about. Well, I want to talk about everything on my podcast. Kind of like snitching, but not really snitching. Racism, bullying, incest, lack of culture, religion, sports, politics, interracial dating, sexism, gender inequality, etc. For many of those topics, people don't like to talk about and like to keep their opinions to themselves, like secrets. And if they do talk about it for some of those topics, especially racism and politics, people won't be completely honest about it because of what they believe the backlash will be. So therefore, they try to be politically correct.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
What's up, yo?
I can speak.
You can speak. You can speak. You can speak.
I can speak.
Yeah, I got your butt back on here.
Yeah, finally.
Officially welcome to the Ruling Class Podcast.
The Ruling Class Podcast.
Now, we tried to do this like 5-6 months ago, and we did it. It was a great shoot, but it was before I started doing video episodes. And not that you have to be on video, because the audio version was good enough. But man, I didn't have great mics the first time around. So I was like, man, I got to get this girl back on here. She has a great voice, even though she doesn't think so. She has a great story. I love her enthusiasm. She can match my energy. And all the time, I don't always get that on the podcast. So I think this is going to be a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. I think they're really going to enjoy this episode. What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you see me over there? Can they see me? I just need to make sure we, on the same page today.
All right.
They might not like what I got to say.
Okay. That's the wine. Let me know if you like the wine. Come on.
Is the wine you lied about? I know you didn't just stick your finger up.
Hey, look at what the heck are you doing?
You better stop that right there. This wine right here, you had like one glass. Don't take no more.
All right, Chastity Patterson.
That's my name.
I met you. Yeah. Ooh, it's good because I can't remember quite. 2017. I had to meet you in 2017 because that's when I came to UCA.
Who throws out years around here?
What? I throw out years around here. 2017 is when you and I met.
Okay, you could have said like freshman year, sophomore year.
I met you. Well, I don't know what you call it. I met you the first year I came to UCA, which was, I guess, considered my junior year, but it was my first year there because I transferred. So I met you my first year at UCA. So it was 20. Regardless, it's still 2017. You feel me?
I don't know what class I was in then.
You talking about when you and I met?
Yeah.
You and I met. Oh wait, that's right. Because we didn't meet each other until Dr. Scholes.
Yeah.
So I met you in 2018. I
graduated in 2018. I met you way before then.
2017 then.
Man, I don't know.
27. That's right. We met each other in 2017. We only took one class together, though, right, Dr. Scholes?
Yeah, thank God.
But the prominent point here is you and I met each other in Dr. Scholes' class.
Yeah,
and
worst class ever.
Worst class ever?
Worst class ever.
And you used to, I think you had a problem with me at the time that I didn't
like you, man.
Okay.
Does that shock you? I don't know why you think that you're just this most likable person in the world.
I don't do anything to anybody. Why didn't you like me? I didn't do anything to you.
You know how like sometimes you pay to go to class, but you don't want to be there?
Yeah.
But then you have those people who pay to go to class that enjoys being there. So they involved in all the class discussions. They got all the questions, all that stuff going on in life. That's the people you don't even want to sit next to in class. They might be the smartest, but you don't want to sit next to them.
That kills me that you said this. You say this about me all the time. Chastity, in all seriousness, please stop saying it about me. I do engage in class. I don't, in that class in particular, I did not engage a lot.
That really hurts your feelings, don't it?
Because you're not being honest. I didn't engage a lot in that class. You would come to class and stuff, and it would always be weird because you'd always be late, and then you'd always be like rushing. You always gave the energy like you had 4 kids or something like that. You'd have like a backpack on or a purse, and you have papers in your hands. You got a coffee. You got some food that you're nibbling on. It's like,
I was a busy woman.
And that's a great transition because I'm wondering, I used to wonder about you, like, why you seem so busy compared to the average. And I'm not talking about like busy for like a college student busy. No, Chastity was a different type of busy. So I want you to tell the listeners the type of college life you lived outside of college. This girl is the most, I'm not even kidding. She's like the most intriguing person I've ever met in my life, in good ways and not so good ways.
Oh, don't do me like that.
She is what she's about to share with you, like, it's legit her. Like the things that she was doing while in college, it's like it's not believable. And that's what makes her intriguing, because her and another friend of mine, and I remember saying this the first time we shot the episode earlier this year, I remember telling you that you remind me of another friend I have. It's like you and him say the most, you and him say things more than anybody else I've ever met in my life, where it's like, yo, I want to believe you because you're my friend, but I don't believe you. They say the most unbelievable things. Like he'll tell me something like, bro, yeah, so I was shooting dice yesterday, right? And I started off with $200 and I ended up winning almost $25,000, but then I ended up losing it again, but I'm gonna get it back tomorrow.
How is that unbelievable? That's a gambler who got a problem.
You won $25,000
yeah,
in a dice game, starting off with $200. I'm taking that and running. That's incredible.
Yeah,
but he'll say it like it's nothing. That's like you. Okay. You are like that.
Okay, but think about it. If I only came $200. I win 25,000. You think I'm finna stop?
Yes.
No.
The heck?
You on a winning road, my man. You keep throwing that dice.
Right. I guess that explains why he was broke when he left.
Oh, he lost the 200.
I just told you.
Oh, then he's stupid. You supposed to at least get $50 more than what you came in with.
Chastity, this is what I'm talking about right here. This girl, we yelling already. We ain't even 10 minutes in, bro. Chastity, tell these people what type of college life you lived.
Well, I started college. I went to class. Went back to my dorm room. Did homework. Went to sleep. Woke up the next day. Went to class.
Try again.
No, I'm just kidding. So freshman year, I actually got a scholarship to UCA, academic wise, because I was a criminal. No, I'm so serious. Okay, so like this one time, I went to what is it called? FBLA, like Farmer Business Leaders of America, something like that. You know, when you learn to farm. I don't even know why I was in that. Maybe, I don't know. I was running out of classes in high school. So anyway, we was at a conference, and at the conference they were like, what is some ways that you can get money back from the government due to natural disasters that sounds illegal, but it's not illegal. Technically, it's illegal the way I worded it, but it's not. So, for example, I stood up and I said, well, technically, if you have a farm, you have 60 cows, and say that technically you really only have 10, and all 10 of those cows die, I'm going to go to the people and say I had 60 cows and those cows died. The government has to pay you for 60 cows because it was a natural disaster. Technically, that's illegal, but technically it's legal at the same time. I mean, that's how rich people get rich and stay rich. I'm just letting you know. Well, at the time, my boss, well, it wasn't my boss, but some people were there at another conference, heard my comment, and was like, oh my God, like, do you have a job and this and this and that? And I was like, no, but I'm going to be moving to Central Arkansas soon and this and this and that. And then the crazy thing about it is that, like, they worked here too. So, like, they offered me a job freshman year. Boom. Just like that. So I made my mind up. I'm going to go to UCA. Well, at the same time, I was modeling for an agency in Little Rock. So it worked out fine. So I went to Little Rock for both jobs, and then I came to class. Well, then I started traveling and going to school.
Now, what you're not going to do is just throw this traveling thing, this traveling statement out there like it was just like you was traveling to Little Rock or to Mayflower.
No, okay,
you
so
was catching plane rides.
I was getting flued out. Like that flued out.
you was like seriously, in all seriousness, you was like working for a construction company or something, right?
Yeah, I was coming in with like suitcases for class because I had to leave right after to go out of town.
On a plane?
Yeah.
Were you part-time in college?
No, it was full-time. I had all my classes at 8 a.m. every day, 8 a.m., and I was out by like 12. So then, like, I would run from class to class, and then I would leave. Or, like, some days, I would be getting back, and my flight would land at 6, and then I would be, like, flying on the freeway getting back here.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta make some money.
And the fact that you was working at a construction company as a woman in college is like the most unorthodox situation I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Was that not? Don't be sorry. It's just, who works at a construction company while they're in college full time?
Somebody that needs some money.
Was it weird working at a construction company?
Man, it's still weird to today. For real.
What's the weirdest situation you've ever been in at the construction company?
Every meeting I go to, I'm the only female. Every meeting I go to, I'm the only speck of color. And I ain't even that dark.
And that's the answer to your question. Like that's always like the weirdest thing for you.
Yeah.
Being like, well, no, I get it. I just didn't know if that was your
Well, I
final.
mean, like, it sounds very basic when I say that, but when you think about everything that comes with the fact of being a black woman, well, a woman on just in general,
Right.
and then being a black woman, you add like 50,000 issues at once. But me being the way that I am, I'm very open and kind of like easygoing, and I can kind of talk to anybody about anything, even if it's a surface level conversation. I can have it with you.
Hard to believe.
You never know if I liked you or not. I
Right.
mean, I do my job.
Right.
My job isn't coming here to be your friend.
Right.
So because I am that way and that type of person, like I just show up to get my job done. I don't try to be your friend. And because I'm that way, I kind of fit in with a lot of people at my job because they the same way too. I don't want to be your friend.
So you were working at a construction company, full time, part time?
Full time.
Full time at a construction company, going to college full time, but you was like traveling to other states.
Yeah.
In the middle of college, when you got tests and assignments and all of that.
Yeah. But all my classes was at 8 a.m. I was out by 12. So like I would go to class and I'm out by 12. I would make it to Little Rock at like 1:15 and the flight would be at like 1:30 or like 1:45. So then I would always carry a carry-on bag because if you make it within 30 minutes of the time, it can't go. But I'm only going to be there for a few hours, so sometimes I only took my backpack on homework. So like I would do my homework on the flight, or I would do my homework if I'm at a meeting or something there, and I would be doing my homework in it, like because I didn't really care enough, you know. I just needed paycheck. Did you hear me say that?
Yo, that's okay. Okay, so I can't even comprehend that.
And I was involved in a lot of like on campus activities.
How in your one person, how are you doing all of that?
First of all, sweetheart, you get 24 hours in a day. 24.
You don't have to convince me on multitasking and doing all these different things. We all know that I'm involved in a bunch of different things, but you working a full-time job, full-time college.
I work
there is no more time for nothing else, Chastity.
Yes, it is. Okay, for example, like I work at a construction company, and I have a new position now. And I work at Sprint. 2 full-time jobs. But if one job is able to be done from home and you have to physically be at the second job, but you don't have a lot of customers coming in, technically you work in 2 jobs at the same time. It's possible. Trust and believe. So I would be at Sprint working with customers and stuff, but I would also work and do my stuff from my other job. So like emails.
Sprint or Sears?
Sprint.
Huh.
Like the phone store. Ring, ring.
Right.
Sprint.
Okay.
Yes. For a whole year and a half, I did that. And but at the time you met me, I had just finished I quit at the modeling agency, and I was working at JCPenney. So I would work JCPenney at nights. Yeah. And I worked at JCPenney for like 4 years. And I worked at the construction company.
Listen, you talking to somebody who worked 2 jobs in freaking college. Like I worked 3 jobs at one point in college when I was in community college. But it was like 3 part-time jobs. And hearing 3 jobs can be a little bit misleading. It's still 3 jobs, but it's like 3 part-time jobs that all the hours are flexible.
Yeah.
So it's like almost equivalent to 1 job, 1 full-time job, 1.5 full-time job type deal. But what you was doing, I don't know. Like that was just crazy to me. And I could tell that you was doing something different from the average college student, because what you like the suitcase you have with you, or like how you scare yourself. I just think that's weird. I think that's
I mean, you
different.
just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
You don't have to do that. Do you have to do that?
I did. So the difference between the average college student and me is that like I had responsibilities coming into college. Like I have 2 parents that are disabled. I have 2 parents that's disabled. On top of that, my mom has 7 kids. She has 22 grandkids. So there's 22 nieces and nephews for me. Yeah, open that mouth. Yes. So at the time I started college, I lived on campus in Short and Denny. But I lived on campus. And then before that first semester was over with, my sister was getting a new job. So she needed someone to keep my nephew, which was just born at the time. So I had to keep him for like 6+ weeks. Well, you can't keep him on campus. So that changed my whole dynamic of college and my whole lifestyle. So now I have a responsibility as a parent now. Even though he wasn't my kid, I have to do something. So I moved off campus. and then I moved into an apartment. And so I would get up and I would drop him off at daycare, and then I would go to class. And then I would leave class and I would go to JCPenney or something in between those hours because he doesn't have to be picked up until 6:30, and then I would go home. Or I would pay a friend to watch him until I got home. So it's possible.
Girl, that's possible, but my goodness, man, that sounds like a lot of...
It's a lot. It is. It's a lot. It's very demanding, but sometimes it's like you have to do what you have to do. Don't get me wrong. I didn't volunteer for it. It was, here's your ticket. This is what you got to do. Go get it punched.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your time at UCA?
No.
Why you answer so fast?
No.
Why not?
It's
I did.
You did, but we got two different lifestyles. So college for me was, one, I didn't really care enough to go to college at all. Like, I might seem like it, but I didn't really care. I didn't care enough to go to college. 2, it's overpriced. 3, yes, you meet some of the best friends in your life. You meet somebody you might grow old with.
Yeah, like that's none of that's important though. Like you don't have to. That's side stuff.
That is a lie.
Okay, then don't make it sound like that stuff isn't important.
It is important, but
Right.
until you said, was my college experience great? No, like I had some of like the best friends in college. I don't talk to none of them no more. None. And I hope you watching this podcast. I don't talk to none of them no more. Nan, zero, nada, no.
Okay.
But I support them in everything they do.
Why did you not enjoy your time at UCA?
Because it was a lot. Like, the teachers are over demanding. They don't know how to teach.
Not all of them.
That is a lie. You teach yourself most of everything that you do.
Not all of them. Not true. And you know that's not true. And first of all, you can't.
Different teachers then.
No, we had some of the same
No,
teachers.
we
That's
had
first of all.
different teachers.
Second of all, you can't go to different. No,
My
Chastity.
2.5 years at UCA, I was in education though.
Right. The point I'm making though is you can't say all teachers because you don't know all teachers. You didn't take all teachers.
Okay, let me rephrase this. I had every teacher in the education department. I had every teacher in the psychology department, and I had every teacher.
You didn't have
in
every
the
teacher in the
department.
psychology department.
I had every single one of them except that one tall guy that you named. What's his name?
You talking about
The one that was like, oh my God, that's my favorite.
Oh, I don't remember him. He said that about you?
No, you do. You're like, that's my favorite. Yeah.
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Yeah, he like a skinny, tall white man. It's the only teacher I have not had.
You can't be talking about definitely not Scholes because he's not tall.
No.
He's nobody's favorite, right?
I
Not
like Scholes.
Dr. Huh?
I like Scholes. We didn't get along, but I like him.
You're not talking about Dr. Sobel,
Not
that
him.
rides the
That's
bicycle.
I love him.
I like Dr. Sobel. His class.
I love him as an individual.
Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about though, unless you're talking about one of the Charlton. Like if
No,
you're
I
not
had
talking
both
about
of them.
them, then I don't know what professor. But anyways, you
I didn't like
so
him.
I like both of them. So you don't enjoy, and some people from UCA listen to this podcast, so
And I
be
hope
careful.
they understand.
Uh,
Some teachers should have to fix their attitudes to meet the students where they are. No offense.
okay, I agree with that, but again, you're making it sound like all teachers at UCA or anywhere are a monolith, and they're not.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that my experience at UCA was terrible. And
But a lot of that has to do with your outside life, right?
no, it has to do with on campus. Like, first of all, UCA doesn't make anything easy at all. Like, I can honestly say, with like the new president that they have, President Houston, he is a completely different energy and environment than when I first came into UCA. Let's be honest about that. And kudos to UCA for hiring him.
Shout out to Dr. Houston Davis, who should be on the podcast here pretty soon. Shout out to his wife Jenny. Happy late birthday, by the way.
No offense to anything I say about your school. Just saying. It happened before you, though. Remember that.
Okay. Yeah, this is 2017-ish, so this is pending.
2014 until whenever he got there.
Okay.
Okay? So, one, UCA don't make anything easy. Nothing in the world. 2, when you come from nothing and your family does not know anything about college, that makes it 10 times harder. My mom, no offense, but like why am I saying no offense? It's my mom. My mom didn't finish high school. Like she was kicked out of school in 8th grade. So for someone to not have a full education, how do you expect them to understand everything that you give them to apply to a college? My mom didn't know nothing. Do you know how hard it was for us to find people to help me apply for college? It was not easy. So then you get there and then they want to talk over your freaking head. I almost cussed. Censor. They want to talk over your head.
You can curse.
Nah, we good. You said that people from UCA go hear it. They talk over your heads. They give you a bunch of paperwork. They don't explain nothing. They send you to 50,000 places around the world. Nobody communicates with nobody. So one person in this department will tell you something and tell you to go talk to somebody else, and then you run over here, and then you come back, and it's like, damn, did I just run around the world 10 times? Just to get the answer of yes or no. No. UCA just do the most. They don't meet you where you are. They don't have individuals that they pay to meet you at the level that they need to be at. Everybody graduates college and think they know everything, but not understanding that the people that's coming into their college is trying to get to the level that they are. So you need to meet them at the 10 notches that where you first started at. Okay? So UCA needs to get that together. Even just by starting to get into the school. They just terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
All of that wasn't my experience necessarily. Some of that was, but that wasn't necessarily my experience. But I did hear a lot of things about UCA before I came to UCA. And this isn't about bashing UCA. Her and I are just two very honest people. So we're gonna give it to you raw. But what I heard about UCA before I came to UCA was a lot of things regarding the financial aid department.
Oh my God.
Very similar to Euler. Like I hear the same things about Euler, but the UCA financial aid department.
Yes.
I didn't have bad experiences with UCA financial aid department. And listen, but watch this. But we talked about this before, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I, like you, did not have any parents who went to college. Don't hear me out. Who graduated college. And it was something that I had to adapt to on my own. But I was a very careful person. I was a very precise person. And I knew that one of my greatest fears was college debt. Any debt. I don't want to be in debt. No matter what it is, I don't want to be in debt. I hate debt, Chastity. So for me, when I came in, I wanted to know everything I needed to know about taking out loans, and if I need to take out a loan, I'm blessed enough to say that I graduated college with no undergrad with no loans. But it wasn't until I started attending UCA that I realized, like, oh snap, it's people who go to college and take out loans for stuff that's completely unrelated to school.
Yeah, me.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Me.
I didn't know that it was people who was taking out, I'm talking about tens and tens of thousands of dollars to live places. They're buying cars.
Yeah,
They're
me.
buying clothes.
Yeah.
They're going on shopping sprees. They're going on vacations. They're splurging off loans. And a lot of us don't even understand, especially coming into college, a lot of us don't understand the difference between a subsidized loan, an unsubsidized loan, a standard loan. A lot of us, Stanford loan, a lot of us don't understand the differences between those. We think loans are loans, and a lot of people treat these loans like
money.
Like it's free money and you don't have to pay this stuff back, and like as if there's no interest at the end.
Yes.
I didn't know that there was people who was treating loans like this though, Chastity, until I attended UCA, and I was like, oh snap. So I started to like develop this mentality of believing like just because you see people with nice clothes on and drive these nice fancy cars, don't just look at it for face value, because a lot of that stuff can be very misleading, and a lot of those people are drowning in debt.
Yes.
You had this experience. I did not.
Yeah, but you can always tell like who was living off student loans and who wasn't. Let me rephrase that. Hold on. Based in the Black community, you can tell who's on campus living off student loans and who's not. For the simple fact that, like, one, you can tell who's the most common kids on campus. You always see them in the student center. You always see them try to be involved in everything. Like, you see the most common, normal kids all the time. Like, if you see them on campus, well, oh, yeah, I've seen him around. I don't know him, but I've seen him around. they start school, yeah, they got clothes on, they got this and this and that. But the moment that direct deposit hit, oh, they splurging. They got the new J's on. They got new shoes on. They done went to the store and paid their phone out in full. Like, I'm telling you, you can always tell. And in the moment they run out of money, they back to that person you first seen. It's always that way. And then you can always tell, too, because them fast ones, you know how you were sheltered at home, but your mama not there, so you fast in college. They fast in the summertime, and they spending all their little money from school. But when that money gone, they be the ones that was living off of it because they still try to be fast in the winter because they didn't buy themselves no winter clothes. Yes, you can see it.
So you knew, did you know that this was a problem as far as it relates to financial aid?
Yes, because
early on though, but I'm saying, did you know this before you came to UCA?
Yes.
I didn't know this. Like, I was so lost to this.
Too. Like, you know, like when you watch TV shows and they be, you know, like college shows and stuff, it was always that. It was like, don't take out student loans, don't do this. And then people like, I gotta take out a loan so I can pay my rent. Like, and then I had siblings. Like, my mom put all my sisters and brothers through college. Except me. Shots thrown. Yeah, I had to figure it out. But she put all them through college. So I know what it's like for people to take out loans and stuff. I knew that. What I did not know is the difference in loans, how they offer the loans. And then it seems like when I started at UCA, it seemed like it was a race to see who can get the most loans thrown out to students. That's what it felt like. It was like...
That scares me, man. Just hearing that, bro.
Yeah, it's like I walk into the financial aid department and the only people you see is black students and minority students lined up to get loans. But at the time, I sat down with somebody and talked to them about a loan. And I was like, okay, well, I don't technically need it, but I'm going to take it out. And they were like, why? I was like, okay, well, I have a car.
That don't sound like a bad school. A lot of schools probably may not even ask you why. It sound like they cared about you.
They didn't ask me nothing. I'm talking about the person I sat down with.
At UCA, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay, separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, hey, I have a car note. I have insurance. I have this. I have that. I have rent. I said, I need to find out the best way possible to get this taken care of. And then when I go to work, I can go on and pay this out before I'm even out of school. So what I did is my freshman year, I had that white car.
Yeah.
It was brand new coming in. I took out a student loan. I paid my car off. No bills. And technically, I didn't have to pay that loan back until I graduated, 2020. But what I did is that the amount that the car was, well, one, my mindset was I need to find a way to build my credit. And I need to find a way to make my life easier. Just in case I decide, hey, work is too much, I can quit. So what I did is once I signed the loan, because I talked to my mom about it, signed a loan, I went to the place, I paid my car off. And then I turned around and I paid my insurance up for the year. So now I have no car note and I have no insurance. So that's $562 a month that I can save. Or I can pay that $562 toward my student loan and start building my credit. Because one day I realized I'm going to have to take care of my mom and dad. So I need to make sure my finances are taken care of. So that's what I did. I paid my car off. I paid my insurance up for a year. And I paid that $562 toward my student loan. They didn't have interest. But I didn't know that until they gave me two options and told me you can accept it in your MyUCA. And my stupid self was going to accept the one and start collecting interest. Didn't know. But that's the one that offers you the most money. Yeah, so I'm like,
wow.
Dang, this one here is $8,000. I'm going to take the $8,000 instead of the $6,000. Not realizing that $8,000 sound better, but you're collecting interest on top. So yeah, they're going to offer you more money up front because they're making more money on top of offering you that money up front. So I took out the $6,000 this semester, took out the $6,000 that next semester, paid my car off, paid my insurance off, and then I started paying that $562 toward my student loan, and I started building my credit then.
By the time you graduated, how much in debt were you?
From school or just all together? School, I left UCA with $11,000 in debt.
That's not bad, though.
No, that's not bad.
Man, that's not bad, though.
That's not bad.
I know some stories,
that,
man.
That's not bad, knowing the fact that I took out about $30,000 total at UCA. But I paid my car off, I paid my insurance up, and I paid that every month. So when I left UCA, I had $11,000. out of 30.
So you paid $19,000, and that's very impressive.
Facts.
Kudos to you, Chastity, because a lot of people can't relate to that.
Yeah, but most people wouldn't do that. They would have. I know.
Waited.
I have some friends who maxed out their UCA because I think.
What does that
UCA is
mean?
like 50,000.
Translate that for the listeners. What does maxing out?
Okay, so if you are an undergraduate, I think you can get up to like $50,000. Once you hit 50,000, you can no longer get student loans. Total.
And you're all 4 years.
No. That's only subsidized and unsubsidized.
Because I know people who went over that.
That's different. You can only get $50,000 through subsidized and unsubsidized through your 4 years at UCA. 4 years. But that doesn't count Perkins loans, parent loans, private loans. But
that's
those
right.
are completely different
And
because they have different rules and the interest is way higher.
Way higher.
Yes. So I have a friend that spent 7 years at UCA for a 4-year degree. Not kidding. 7 years for a 4-year degree because they kept messing up, didn't know what they wanted to do. Teachers was telling them this and this. Advisors wasn't helping them. Like, it was a mess. Like, I literally sat down with them one time to fix, like, their 4-year plan. And they left UCA almost $90,000 in debt. And that's all of those loans on top of their parents were signing parent loans and Perkins loans. Like, and they're quick to sign. Hey, y'all real quick to give us some money. But y'all not quick to forgive that. I'm just letting y'all know.
You right, and you speaking truth there. $90,000 in debt.
But how many
undergrad, and a lot of people don't even do anything with their degrees.
He don't. My man work at Enterprise. No shots thrown, friend. Just being honest. But I'm just saying.
Do you sure that number is right though?
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
I know a dude who, I know a person who took out $100,000, $100,000 in debt, in loans.
Yes.
In loans, in undergrad.
You're not educated.
But this person was educated. How about this one? This person was educated. They knew what they were doing, but they decided they wanted to do it for temporary reasons due to the fact and all because of the degree that they were getting and the salary they were anticipating to make after school, after so many years of school. They will be able to pay that off in no time. $100,000 in undergrad is not even, I can't even comprehend. Like it's, when I can't even articulate this enough for y'all. That beyond scares me, bro. Like I don't plan to ever in my life have $100,000 in debt, period.
I do.
Not from undergrad.
Oh no, I'm just talking about in real life.
Why? Why would you want $100,000?
Okay, so you gotta have this mindset. If you want to be successful,
I get it. You gotta invest. It's like investing in yourself.
It's not just investing. It's just the mindset that like, as long as you know that you owe money somewhere, there's still people in the world that's ready to throw you some more money to keep owing more money.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, have you ever heard of Grant Cardone? You gotta know this man.
It sounds. Oh, the real estate dude.
Yes, love him. Shout out to him.
That's the guy, right? That's the guy who says buying houses is a terrible idea.
It is.
He says nobody should buy houses.
You shouldn't.
He said nobody should ever buy a house. If you buy a house, these are his words. He said if you buy a house, you are an idiot. He said, oh yeah, I definitely know who that is. Like
I love him.
He has a lot of hot takes.
He is straight and raw. And I love it. And he'll be honest with you about it because he came from nothing. And he'll tell you the truth. I bought his book and I've been reading it. And I love it. As long as you are in debt.
As long as you're shaking this wine in your hand and get it on my carpet.
I'm not going to shake this on your carpet.
All right, dude.
But I'm just saying, as long as that you are in debt and you making money like that, you got to be bringing money in somewhere to be that much in debt. Just saying. Because they're not going to give somebody that don't have good credit and no money enough money to be $100,000 in debt.
In school, they are.
Well, yeah, that's school.
All right, what do you mean that's school? That's still $100,000 in debt, and you have nothing to show for it. You're not making that money to make up for it.
The only way you're going to be $100,000 in debt, though, from school is if you went to school to be a surgeon or a doctor some way, somehow.
Yeah, but even if you're going to school for that, Chastity, you're right. This person was going to school to be a doctor, but the point that you're missing is that they were still in undergrad. They were still in undergrad. They weren't in that doctorate program. This is strictly undergrad, and they were $100,000 in debt.
But that's the thing, too.
Before that.
A lot of people don't understand, too, is that, like, that is a number one thing that separates And I'm not trying to throw no shots to say it's color, but that's the difference from separating black kids in college from white kids in college.
What is?
Debt. Because let's be honest, how many white parents is going to let their kids go and sign and be $100,000 in debt?
Yeah, but I think before we just make this about a color thing, or a race thing, I think you're on to something, but I think what that is specifically for so-called white students, it's specifically the so-called white students that have parents that have that history, that have that education. All of them don't. So there are many so-called poor so-called white people who have parents that have no history in college that make the same mistakes that a lot of so-called black.
Yes, 100%. But what I'm saying is that most of the time, that's not known of because they have parents that are going to tell them to stop, or
you're right. I agree.
Parents
may even have the money.
Yeah, but their parents keep up with what they do in school too.
Yep, you're right.
Because let me tell you something. My mama don't know how to work no computer, but that girl learned just so she can log on to my UCA. Or she learned that number to the school to call just to see if my grades was fine and where my debt was. When your parents care enough, they'll stay on it. When your parents don't care about what the hell you're doing, you're going to get in debt and you're going to get behind. And don't get me wrong, yes, black parents care. 100%. I'm not saying that they do. But 99% of my friends are black. And let me tell you something. I don't know not one of them whose parents ever called. Like, they used to think that I was crazy for letting my mom have access to my school stuff. Why would I not? She needs to correct me when I do something stupid because she's been there, she's done that. You don't have to go to college to understand a stupid choice and a mistake. And you don't have to go to college to know that you're finna get yourself in debt that you can't get yourself out of. So, my friend's parents never called the school. My friend's parents never attended the school. My friend's parents never came to the school. So,
I know a lot of people that can relate to that.
Facts. And I had a lot of white friends that when I met them in college, they would be like, yeah, my parents give me a stipend, or my parents put $10,000 in my account when I first started college, and I have to make that $10,000 stretch. And I'm looking at them like, whose parents get them $10,000?
Right. Who parents got $10,000 to give them?
Parents who made their kids trust funds a long time ago.
Yeah. And
I was really shocked going into the education department, realizing that a lot of these girls in the education department are already set. And that used to make me so mad. Like, you're already set. You'll never know what it feels like to stress or deal with. Like, we used to complain about interest on our loans being 24.99%.
What?
That is
what interest on what loan?
That is the interest on my Dillard's credit card.
Wait, you have what loans are you taking out that has the 24?
Loans would have 20.
Oh yeah, okay, that P word. I don't have to. Yeah, okay.
So like one of my friends would bring it up in class and she would be asking me about it, and I'm like, why are you taking out a private loan? You finna graduate. She was like, well, I have to have money to be able to go out of state. I need to have money to be able to get into the grad department that I'm needing to get in, and then I need money to be able to do the research that I'm doing. So she took out that money before she graduated to put it up, but it was a private loan. So you have girls that are like, oh my God, like, that's a lot, 24%, like, I don't even know how you do that, like, our parents gave us this. Yeah, that's great and all, but you'll never know what it feels like because you never had to work in college. You never had to get a student job. You never had to say, or this is how you know you got money. If you come in freshman year and you didn't have the complete access to the CAF and you had bare bucks freshman year, you knew your parents knew what they was doing. Just saying. Like, you knew you had money. If you ain't going to the CAF to eat every day, I'm just saying. Because if you don't know what it feels like to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack.
right.
Then you set. You got it made. Yeah, you got athletes who do it, but I know a whole lot of athletes at UCA who didn't have no money. And was just taking out loans to get by because they wasn't getting no money.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of students whose parents had them set. So no, I'm not trying to say it's a race card, but I don't know a whole lot of black parents lining up with their kids, going to the financial aid department, making sure that them and their kids on the same damn page. Yep. And I blame the parents for that because you didn't raise your kids right. And it's sad that we in 2020 and you got kids having kids. You saw your parents make the same mistakes, but you doing the same shit. Excuse my language. But you're doing the same thing. Like you saw what your parents did for you and you following in the same footsteps. So only thing you're doing is creating another you. So those kids,
it's a cycle.
The same kids is gonna be lined up in the financial aid department, taking out loans, failing, or taking out loans, getting on academic probation, having to sit out for 3, 4, 5 years, and now having to pay money just to get back in school to start where they finished. They'll never go back.
Facts. And what do we think the solution is to this? Because
educate yourself.
But see, I think that's the easy answer, because even if that's the answer, just hear me out, Chastity. Even if that's the answer, here's the problem with that. You got somebody like myself. My mother did not graduate college. I don't know my dad. I didn't know my dad.
Okay.
I went into college blind. I don't know how any of this stuff worked. I didn't even realize that I could take out thousands and thousands of dollars. I didn't know if I was eligible. It's like, oh no, if you poor, Demetrius, more than likely you're definitely eligible. You're going to be eligible for anybody else. If you're poor,
oh, I heard that so much. Or if
you're okay.
Black. You're black and poor. Oh, you definitely go get in college.
Come on.
I hear that in the grad school. You black and poor.
Like, come on to the financial aid office.
Swear.
But what's crazy is I was not even smart enough. It was more like I was conscientious enough to be. My uncle's girlfriend used to say to me right before I graduated high school. She used to always call me who, what, when, where, and why. And I never saw it as an insult. And she meant it in an insulting way. She's like, DD don't play. Like, he always asks, even if I say DD, they fighting down the street. Like, that ain't hard to believe. DD be like, who? Why would they be fighting? Like, he asks us questions when nobody else said, I want to know. I want to know. So with me, before I take out some loan, it's just free money? Because I ain't hear the G word. The G word is the grant word. If I hear grant word, I know that it's free. If I hear loan, I'm expected to pay this back.
Yeah.
And some extra.
Yeah.
Do I need to take it out, or is my tuition covered? Let me do the math. Let me sit down. I remember sitting down with my process for getting into grad school earlier this year, and I remember that moment with you, Heather. I had a moment earlier this year where I've never taken out a loan before, and I was in the process of taking out loans for grad school. So this is the first time I've ever taken out a loan, and I'm in the process of doing it. So I'm like, this is almost exciting for me because I've never taken out a loan before, but it's for my master's. And I know this is for a purposeful degree, and not an undergrad slide, because depending on what you're getting your degree in, it's definitely purposeful. But there's a lot of degrees out there that aren't. Just saying. I'm excited for this, and I remember breaking down and doing the math and taking away this and much, and adding this and adding this in. And I remember Heather looking at me, and she was like, "Wow!" She was just like shocked that I was doing all of that, and I was like, "What?" She was like, "Well, I didn't even know you could just take out, that amount." And I remember having that conversation with her. If she don't mind me sharing the story, I remember having this conversation with her about how she didn't know that you could take out specifically the exact amount that you needed. And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, you can literally ask for the exact amount down to the penny, and you can reject the rest. And you don't have to take out, but they don't tell you that.
No, they tell you, but at UCA, they used to tell us that you had to take that. Yes, before my UCA.
No.
Yes, it was. Before my UCA would let you put into the blank how much money you wanted, you could only accept, yes, I want this, or no, I don't want this. There was not a spot where you could choose how much money you wanted.
I think Heather actually told me this. I think she told me the same thing. She said that CBC did the same thing with her. They didn't tell her that you had the option, like, edit the amount that you wanted. Yep. It's like, nope, take all I need is $5,000. Take this $25,000 or take nothing. What?
Yep. Because I remember my first time ever going into the financial aid office. The woman don't work there no more, but her name was Amanda. She was really, really nice. Little black woman. I would have never known that until she told me, sweetheart, you should never take a subsidized loan. Wait, is it subsidized or unsubsidized?
I think subsidized is the one you're not supposed to take.
Right. She was like, you should never take a subsidized loan if you don't need it. Because she was like, you have money over here and you're unsubsidized. And I was like, what's the difference? That's where I tell you. Educate yourself, because nobody stops you from asking a question. That's free.
All right, facts.
So,
facts.
I asked her, what's the difference? And she sat there 30 minutes, line held up, people with attitudes, and she did not care. And she said, sweetheart,
that's what's up.
This one here, you're going to pay money on now. This one here, you're going to pay when you get out of school. If you decide to go to grad school, it's going to keep being deferred. And she said, based on your grades, it seemed like you might go there. But you don't need to take this. And then she told me, you have the option to take unsubsidized right now. You only need $200 left to pay for school. You don't have to take $8,000. I looked at her Like, I literally just came in here yesterday and talked to some young white girl, no offense, and she literally told me that I can take out the $8,000 and just pay the rest back.
Bro.
She was like, yeah, you can take out the $8,000 right now, and if you don't need it all, you can just pay it back. Like, as soon as it comes into your account, you can just log in and then just pay it on your student loan bill right then and there. Well, if I take out $8,000, that's gonna hit my credit, regardless if I pay back tomorrow or not. $8,000 go hit my credit, and it's gonna show up. It's gonna take 6-7 months before it show up that it's paid $7,800 on it. Nah, I'm good, homegirl. I'm finna go and ask somebody else real quick. I'll be back. Came back the next day, ran into her. She sat there and explained it to me. Crazy thing about it is that me asking that one question helped 6 people in line. Because each one of those kids in line behind me were black. And they were all like, dang, we didn't know that. Like, we've been taking out subsidized, or I just took out 5,000 subsidized and I only needed enough to pay for my books. Like, kids pissed at the top of their mind. But that's what happens when you have the mindset that...
And these schools be knowing that, bro.
Yes.
They know that they'll be coming to these situations and don't be knowing nothing, bro.
And that's why I've always said, I always felt like it was a race to see who can have the most student loans pushed out by students.
That's ignorance.
It's like, because I feel like, I was like, dang, do y'all make commission on this or something? Because I know if I'm taking out $8,000, he just said that he took out $5 just to pay $300 for school books. I know y'all just made some money on us real quick. Real quick. And you're not getting this money back until we graduate college. So you got to be making money on top of this somewhere. Where are you making it at? Let me know. Oh, you're right. Because when you take out a student loan, they take out the first payment right then and there. You ever notice that? Have you looked at your stuff? Well, I don't know if you took out a student loan. Have you ever looked at your stuff? You get a student loan. On there, it says, yeah, you took out $8,000, but you had to pay a certain amount of interest on it. And they'll take $300 out of your $8,000. But you still got to pay back that $8,000, even though you already gave back $300 on top before they drop it in your bank account. Yes. 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 So yes, my answer to how do you fix this problem? Educate yourself. Because questions, that's free. That's free. You can go anywhere in this world and ask anything. You cannot say in 2020 that you enter college not knowing what you was doing, because there's a such thing as Google. There's this thing called YouTube where there is lectures on what to do in college and what not to do. How to apply for loans and what not to do. Where to spend your loans, where not to spend your loans, and how to pay your shit back before you even get out. There are ways to make money to where you don't even have to take out student loans in 2020. This was not here in 2014. You can make money delivering food in Conway now. You can make money sitting at home answering surveys through your emails. You can make money by not deleting your freaking emails in your account.
What?
Yes. Yes, my man. Yes. So there is no way that you can tell me in 2020 that you struggling in college. Because that free time that you spend going to them parties, or that free time you spending right now because everything fucking canceled, you could have been making money. Free money that you're not taxed on. Sitting at home, on your couch, quarantining yourself, not spreading the virus like your little fast self want to, making money.
Are you only talking to women?
No, I'm talking to everybody. All young college students, fast. Let's just go there. Fast. So, sorry your freshman year got messed up and you didn't get that college experience. Sorry. But within these few months that we've been stuck at home, you should not go back into college uneducated about any damn thing that you made a mistake on. Because you had months to fix it. Months. And then the reason why I always make fun of you too about, yeah, you that kid that's in class to have these questions and this and that. It's people like you that make it easier for the kids in class that think they're too good to ask them damn questions or don't care enough, because those questions that you asking, they just don't care enough to ask it, or they feel like they too good to ask questions, and they get themselves put in situations that you won't ever be in because you educated yourself. So yeah, I make fun of you about asking questions, but I get where I'm at because I ask those questions. Even at my job, there's men that's been doing this job for 20 plus years. And I'm going to get that free education while I'm making that paycheck. So everything that you go to college to learn, you're never going to use. No offense. There is nothing I freaking learned that I use in my job today.
Hot take.
So.
You think college is a scam?
Yes. Yes. I would rather.
Depending on what you're getting your degree in. Because there's let's be clear. There are a lot of degrees out there that you can get your degree in, or there's a lot of degrees out there that you can obtain that you can utilize and make a great living off of. Let's be clear. And I don't want to call out degrees in specific because
journalism.
Stop that. I said we're not going to do that.
Art teachers.
Stop.
Music teachers.
Stop.
What you going to
I love art. Stop.
Let's be honest.
Stop. I do not co-sign this.
Okay.
We're not going to do that.
Don't co-sign it, but I'm going to tell you. You're wasting your money on something that you don't need to go to college to get. Because let me tell you something, boo-boo. There is young people making money being YouTube stars that didn't go to college. Being a journalist or broadcaster.
Your message is a little bit misleading.
I'm just being honest about it. So, no, some things I don't feel like colleges should be offering if they're not helping you find a job in that. Like UCA, or let's just say any college. Let's just take UCA, for example. It was a teachers-founded college. It started out as a teacher-founded college just off top. You go and you tell people, yeah, I graduated from UCA. Schools love it, especially around here. They love it. Oh, you graduated from UCA? That's so great. They were teacher-founded college. That's the first thing they want to tell you. Yeah, they were the only school around here that did teachers first. Wonderful. But let's tell them, yeah, I graduated UCA with a writing degree. What are you going to do? I'm being honest. In today's society, what are you going to do? You can't work for the newspaper too long because, let's be honest, they won't be here much longer. Everything is going to online. So you got to be smart in what you choose, because if we want to do this thing called generational wealth and educate our kids, you can't be educating your kid with a writing degree that you got 7 years ago, but you still working at Walmart. No shots thrown. I understand the world is hard and you can't find jobs, but don't sit out here and tell your kids, oh my God, you can be anything you want to be in this world. I'm not telling my kids that. No, you can't. Don't come up in my house with a writing degree if you don't have a backup plan for if that writing degree don't work. If you ain't starting your own journal site or your own website, or you're not going out there jumping fences to make some news and broadcasting something, don't waste my money going to college on it. I understand that you like it. Make that a minor. That's cool. Make that a hobby. That's cool. But you need to do something to be able to put food on your table, because mom and daddy can't do that forever. I'm just being honest. So, yes, college is a scam. It's a scam. And they offer you those easy degrees for a reason. Because they're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I had this one friend that was in sports medicine or sports science, something at UCA. And they went from PE teacher to sports science to, what is it called? Physical therapy. Never got in neither one of the programs. So the advisor, when I went with them that day, literally told them, you know, you can move over to like film and you can graduate next semester. The fact that your advisor is going to sit in your face and tell you that you can move over to film and graduate next semester, that sound good to you. You finna do it so you can be done. You tired. You didn't want to be in college anyway, especially if you done changed 3 degrees because you couldn't pass to get in it. That tells me you didn't try hard enough. You didn't want it bad enough is how I feel. So you changed 3 degrees. You still in college. They tell you to get over to film. That's to spit in your face. But the fact that they offer you film as an easy solution tells me that those degrees are unnecessary. Because how many film writers, producers, directors is there in the world that have to go to college for that? Did Denzel Washington go to school to be the producer on Ma Rainey's? No. He worked his ass off. He worked that business. He asked those questions. He put his money in, and now he's producing his own stuff. So no, you don't have to do that. College is a scam, and they know it. Like, how many people gotta pay to go to school to be an art teacher?
If you wanted to know why, that's why she's on the podcast.